Okay. We are live on Instagram and on YouTube. And I'm having a hard time with my voice, but I'm going to do my best. I got water here. I got coffee. I'm going to do what I can. Ooh, goodness. My voice started to go Saturday night. Saturday night was the worst. It's been getting better. So I don't know exactly what happened. I think it was from the hotel at Gladiator. But yeah, if you want to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is right to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing. All of the fun stuff when it comes to competing. We are live both here on Instagram and on YouTube right now. So you can log on to either one. I personally think the YouTube platform is a little bit more user-friendly, but either one is good. And if you can, and you haven't already, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We are very, very close to our 1,000 subscribers. We need to get to that, so we have full capabilities of live streaming over there. We have almost that many, like 950, I think. So we're getting very, very close. So help me out. Go subscribe if you haven't already. Okay. What's up, you guys? Miss Nadia's on. She just got her suit ready for her show in about a week. We're going to give it another minute or so for everyone to get logged on, and then we'll start talking about the shows from this weekend, specifically the Caribbean Grand Prix. We'll touch on a couple other ones that happened as well. We have a very busy month of shows coming up in April. We got Clash coming up first, which is this coming weekend. I will be there. If you are in the Orlando vicinity and would like to come to a posing session or something with me, even if you're not in prep, whatever, if you just want to kind of test out working with me, that kind of thing, feel free to hit me up because I will be there early on Friday. So I've got time on Friday to meet with everybody that would like to. Welcome, you guys. And again, I apologize for my voice. I'm going to do my very, very best to keep it going. The whole live stream. I may have to pause a couple times, take some sips of water or something. See you Friday. Oh, awesome. Cool. Yeah, so we'll get to do session. Cool. Awesome. All right, let's jump into this. So there's actually 3 pro shows this weekend. There was one in Thailand. There are no pictures up from that one, so I can't really comment on that one. One thing I do know about the Thailand show is the girl that won the pro qualifier there, because it was an NPC worldwide show. So the girl that won the NPC worldwide also won the pro show. So she went from one day being an amateur to the next day being a pro and then an Olympia qualified athlete. So she did win the pro division 2. Again, I haven't really seen photos. I know they did live stream it on their Instagram. And I went to go look at that, but they didn't save the live stream, so I didn't even get a chance to look at that either. So I'll be interested to see what the competition actually looked like once I get to see some photos. That's pretty cool. That's one of the benefits of some of these pro qualifiers, because you can win your pro card one day, and then you can go directly into the pro show and potentially earn your way into the Olympia at that point. That happens for most pro qualifiers. That did not happen at Ben Weeder here in DC. That didn't happen here because they had the amateurs and the pros the same day, same show. So it was like 3 shows in one. So they did everything like back to back to back. So it wasn't possible here, but typically it is. Happy Monday, yes, yeah, and good for her. That is awesome. So live stream. There you go. For Grand Prix, so live stream, or yeah, Caribbean Grand Prix. So that was pretty cool for Thailand. The Brazil show that happened, Julia Chitar did win it. We all assumed that would happen. There ended up being 5 girls in that show. She did win. She was 5th at the Olympia? She was 5th at the Olympia, so that was pretty much a given that she was going to win that show. Not a ton of pictures up, but she won it pretty handedly from what I could see. Again, didn't see a live stream on that one, so I can't comment fully on that one. I apologize, you guys. I'm trying so hard because my voice is so weak right now. So I apologize for the for the coughing and all that. I'm gonna keep it under control as best I can. Yeah, I think it was just from the hotel at Gladiator. I don't know if it's just it was old or what, but the room that I was in smelled like smoke and mold, and I feel like that's what's causing this right now. So I'm just trying to get through that right now. Sorry guys, I apologize. I don't feel sick at all. I just have no voice. Okay, so let's move into Caribbean Grand Prix. So the cool thing about this is they did have a live stream on Zoom. Now the Zoom live stream wasn't great. It wasn't the best resolution, but at least there was something, you know. Kudos to getting a live feed up. I did watch that while I was in the audience of Gladiator. So I was watching that and I was going back and forth with Marissa Wu, who's really good friends with Ashlyn there. So thank you to Marissa, who actually shot me over the link for that and everything too. So I was able to watch while I was sitting in the audience at Gladiator. Because the live stream was so low resolution, I couldn't really tell what was going on as far as who was winning and things like that. But let's start out with wellness and then we'll go into bikini. So Barbara did win wellness. We kind of assumed that was going to happen. She won it pretty much hands down, in my opinion. The cool thing about when we see Barbara winning is she is not one of the biggest competitors on stage. And as a matter of fact, she was the smallest competitor as far as muscle is concerned on stage in this lineup of this particular show. So it wasn't about size. It was about her overall shape, her overall structure, overall conditioning. Everything that she did was on par. Again, I'm going to apologize for my cough as we go through this because I can't do much about it right now. I know some of you guys are just logging on, so you don't know what's going on, but I lost my voice over the weekend. So anyways, the other thing about Barbara is that her overall look is just very polished. She went back to her red suit, which was a very good call. I wasn't a huge fan of the suit that she wore at the Arnold. This one was much better. Right, preach, right. She was just well put together. It's not all about size. It's also about aesthetics. You got to remember this is still an aesthetic division. So it's not just about packing on a shit ton of muscle, right? It's also about how that muscle is put together. So from top to bottom, back to front, upwards, downwards, sideways, backwards, she was just put together the best. Now she's also, again, like I was saying, she's very polished from top to bottom, right? Her posing was the best posing on that stage. Her look, as far as her hair, makeup, suit, all of that, tan was the best one on stage. All of that stuff matters. You know, all of that stuff matters when you're getting up into these top level shows. And again, we have her next to girls that were qualified for Olympia that were in the Arnold. So it's not like, even though there was only 6 girls in the show, it's not like it was a slouch kind of show, right? Yes, wellness isn't a size game. Correct. That's what a lot of people have to get out of their heads. You know what I mean? Like, if you've built enough legs, then stop. You know what I mean? I understand it's a leg heavy division. We get that. But when you start building too much, other things suffer. Other parts of your body suffer. You can't be super glute heavy. You can't be super leg heavy. You still have to have a balance between the two. And the more muscle that you put on, the thicker other parts of your body are going to get as well. Your waistline is going to get thicker. You know, your upper body is going to grow. You can't just target your lower body all the time. You're going to have other things that are going to grow as well. So you have to always keep in mind those aesthetics. You have to have that criteria. Okay. Now, I still believe that Barbara needs to grow some more in order to be competitive and push up into the top 5 at the Olympia. Okay. She is still small. Okay. That's why at the Arnold, she didn't do as well as some of us thought she was going to. Because next to the other girls, she is still small muscle-wise. But if she keeps this kind of aesthetic to her body and continues to grow, she's going to get there. She's just got to keep this frame. She's got to keep this shape, right? It should be good. She'll be fine. She just needs to take time. If I was her at this point, this is when I would probably take some time off. I'm now Olympia qualified, right? Take time to go grow so that when she gets back to the Olympia, she can compete in that top 5, right? So I think she has the ability to do that. I think she has the ability to be up in the top 5 this year if she goes and she puts on a little bit more size. Now, when you look at her and her conditioning next to the other ladies, her conditioning was the best too. Again, top to bottom, back to front, she had the best conditioning as well. Putting her next to Loli, who took second. Loli's waistline is thick, so that's something she's going to have to work on as far as trying to kind of pull that down a little bit, because as far as size is concerned, I think she's good. She doesn't need any more. So if I was her, I would be focusing on shaping right now. I wouldn't try to put any more size on anywhere if I was her. Maybe a little bit more from the back when we're looking at your legs in comparison to glutes. She's a little bit glute dominant. But even that, I think that's more about shaping and posing than anything else. Again, maybe a little bit more hamstring in the back. Pop those quads a little bit more, just balance a little bit more in the back when it comes to the legs with the glutes. But if I was her, again, I would just be focusing on shaping at this point. Trying to pull that waistline down a little bit more, that kind of thing. Same thing with Casey. Casey needs some legs. She's glute dominant. You know, she's pretty heavily glute dominant. She took third here. Pretty heavily glute dominant from the back. Needs to add some legs. Needs to add some size there and work on that overall shape, keeping that waistline down. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, the more size you pack on, the thicker that waistline is going to get. So as a wellness competitor, you have to be really careful with that. If you can grow and keep that waistline tiny, your aesthetics, your balance is going to look 10 times better, right? So that's what I would do if I was her. And then once we get outside of those top 3, you know, same thing with each one of these girls. They have a little bit of something they got to pull up, you know, whether it be from the back or from the front or whatever. We need some more balance. A lot of really glute dominant girls here. When it comes to wellness, yes, you have to have glutes, but you have to have legs to match. So it's not just glutes, it's both. So if you got one that's overpowering the other, you got to fix that balance. So that's what I see here with most of these girls on the stage, is they just got to fix their balance between the two. If the legs are too big, the glutes got to come up. If the glutes are too big, the legs got to come up, that kind of thing. But again, this was judged correctly across the board. I have no problem with how the placings came out. And I think it was pretty obvious going into this that this was going to be Barbara's show. So congratulations to her. She is Olympia qualified now. And if I was her, I'd probably take some time to go and put some size on before the Olympia comes. So again, I can be competitive with Olympia in the top 5. Okay, moving to bikini. Now again, as you guys are logging on here, I apologize for my voice. I'm just getting it back. I lost it completely on Saturday. So please bear with me. I'm doing my best here. One of the things that when Steve is head judge that he's kind of notorious for is he puts the girls in these big, huge call outs, right? So there was 10 girls in bikini, and they were all in one call out. So I was watching on the live stream. And to be honest with you, I don't really have a problem with that. I actually think it's not a bad idea, because then you for sure get looked at. Sometimes if you end up in the second call out, I actually could have you in the first, you know, that kind of thing. And sometimes you just get kind of overlooked in that second call out. So the fact that he puts everybody in one, if the stage is big enough, go for it, you know, because then you have the opportunity to potentially like have them see you when they might miss you having 2 call outs here, right? So he did one big call out. And then once they had their top 3, which was Ellie, Ashlyn, and Alessia, those were the 3 that he brought back. So when he was flipping around again, I was watching on the Zoom. To me, it was pretty obvious that it was between Ellie and Ashlyn, and that Alessia was in third. Even from the Zoom that was relatively low resolution, I could still see that. So I'm going to pull up Alessia's pictures first. And again, sorry about my voice here. Doing what I can here. Hope this is okay for you guys. All right, let me pull this up real quick. Okay. So I don't think this was a bad I don't think this was a bad look for Alessia at all. I actually think it was pretty good. But she's to me, it looks like she's a little bit watery through her waistline, just a little bit in these pictures. You see a little bit of skin fold in her back. Excuse me. When we get her to the back and into her back pose, like her glutes are fine, but I just see a little bit of water retention in her waistline. That could be for a number of different reasons. Could be, how she decided to peak for this show. Could be that she's just tired. This is her third show in the last month, I think. So she's been going. So she could just need a little bit of a break. Yeah, she did Arnold, she did Boston, and now she did Caribbean Grand Prix. I did watch her stories after this, and I think what she said was that she did this show. It was the same. It was Steve at both Boston and here, and she got positive feedback that she improved from Boston, which was good. But again, to me, it was pretty clear that she was in that third place position. She may just need a little bit of a break, just to give herself some time to recoup a little, and let her body come back at 100%. Looked a little bit flat, kind of thing. That's probably what part of this was, and like I said, a little bit of water retention through that waistline and that lower back. Now going to Ashlyn. The biggest thing that I noticed on the live stream that I wasn't sure if it was true in real life was she looked a little out of balance. Looked like her lower half was too big. Once I started looking at photos and things like that, yes, that was the case. Her lower half still needs to come down a couple of pounds. She just needs to be a little bit tighter through her glutes and hamstrings. She's a little soft. Just looks like she put on some size, which is a good thing, but it just wasn't quite dialed in right. So she probably just needs a couple more weeks to pull that down. I believe she's doing Clash, which gives her another week to do that. She just needs to tighten that up from the back a little bit. Shape looks really good, but again, because she wasn't tight enough through that, through the glutes and through the hamstrings and everything, she was just off balance. So she looked a little bit glute heavy. But overall, a nice full look, again, just needs to be tighter. Needs to be tighter from the back specifically. From the front, you can tell she's a little bit lower half dominant at this point too. But again, it's all really in her glutes and hamstrings. So it's just a matter of dieting for a couple more weeks, I believe, and I think she'll be good to go. So she may even be good to go when she goes into Clash. Just an extra week of dieting could do it for her. I do like the change to her suit. She went with a darker blue suit. I think that was a good change for her. When you're blonde, I like the contrast versus doing something that's too light. Talking about Ashlyn. So I do like that. The top to me looks a little bit big on her. So she needs to do one of two things. She needs to either make the top a little bit smaller or she needs to pad it a little bit more. That would help with her balance as well. When you have too much material on top, you are already lower half dominant. The extra material on top can actually accentuate the fact that you are lower half dominant, right? So I think this suit top will work for her, but I just think she needs to pad it up a little bit more. I thought I missed a comment, sorry. Look at the bottoms. And again, sorry about my voice. I know a lot of you guys are just logging on, so I'm saying this every couple of minutes here. My voice is a little bit funky at the moment. I think the bottoms will sit on her better too when she comes down a couple more pounds. So just a couple more pounds in the glutes, which should be good to go. I do like this hair look on her. This might be one of my favorite hair looks for her. I like the mermaid waves. But yeah, I'd like to see her stuff her top a little bit more, or maybe make it a little bit smaller. One of the two. That would help. That would help with her overall look. But I think the bottoms will fit her well once she comes down a couple more pounds. I love the hair. Yeah, I do too. I like the mermaid waves. Looks really good. I sound fine. Thanks. I feel like it's very forced. Like I'm having a hard time talking, so that's why I keep apologizing for it, because I'm like, I feel like it's not my normal voice. Let's see, but I didn't want to let tonight go by without doing this because we have to preview the Clash coming up and all that kind of stuff too. So I want to make sure we got this in. And then Ellie did win this. So again, even just from the live stream, even though the live stream was low resolution, I could see that I pretty much had Ellie winning this. Now, my critique for her when she was at Boston was she was a little bit too hard at Boston. She filled out, and I think she filled out perfectly for this show. She didn't go overboard. She just popped a little bit. You know, she wasn't too lean at this show. She was too lean in Boston. Here, she just popped that. This is the difference between being right on and being off. It's probably a pound, maybe less, but she just filled out what she had in Boston. And to me, that's what really pushed this over the edge. I could tell even on the live stream that she had some really nice pop in her glutes. Her hamstrings, I feel like her hamstring tie-ins were right on. She can be one that her hamstrings can come in too diced, too hard, too striated. She did not do that here. She had a nice curve. She had nice cuts, but they weren't over the top. She's also one that if she doesn't fill her glutes out quite right, her lower back from the back looks a little thick. She filled out her glutes really nicely for this show. This was really good. This was probably one of the best looks I've seen Ellie do. She's nice and full. And again, it wasn't like she did a huge change from Boston. This was not a huge change from Boston. This was just her popping what she already had. It was the same conditioning level. She just filled it out a little bit versus being too sucked in at Boston. This was much better. I like the look with the hair. Really pretty, really polished, really shiny. Let me get a shot in the front here. Look at her. Makeup. Yeah, makeup from the front looks good. Tan looks good. All of that. This was a really good package for her. Really good package for her. Let me see. The comparison shots real quick and see if there's anything else I can note. A lot of these photos are a little dark, so it's hard for me to tell a lot when we're looking, especially when we're looking at a line of 10 girls they put into one call out. It's hard for me to see that. But outside of the top three, we started getting into some girls that were, masters levels competitors. So it made sense when we had those top three in there. And then there was one girl that she won her pro card the day before or the day of or whatever it was. And she didn't compete here. I believe she took fourth. I think she took fourth here. Not bad for a pro debut. But yeah, I mean, it really was a show between the top three. Between the top three here. I'm looking now. I don't see any real issues with like tans, things like that. There's a couple girls here who probably need some help with their presentation, like their posing, their suits, their hair and makeup, that kind of thing. They could probably fared a little bit better if they had fixed a few of those things. But overall, this was just a show between those top three, and it was a tight show. It wasn't like it was anybody's like I have this kind of thing. So it ended up being a really good competitive show. Sorry, guys, I hate this. Sorry. I feel totally fine, but again, I can't talk. Any questions, you guys? Anything that you guys saw from these shows, not even the Grand Prix, but from other shows this weekend, that you had questions about? I was at the Gladiator this weekend. Great show. It's always our first one here in the DMV area. So that was nice to see that show go off. Always fun to get back with our local NPC people. And I'll keep it open for a couple of minutes for any questions you guys might have. As we go through this week, we will be at Clash this coming weekend. So like I was saying, if you are going to be there, even if you're not in prep, and you want to schedule a posing session or something like that with me in person, feel free to hit me up. I'm getting it early on Friday, so I have time to set up times with you guys. Just shoot me a quick DM and we'll get that set up for you. Clash is always a great show. Planning on getting some footage. I got footage of Gladiator, and I was going to do a whole voiceover. I have a whole thing planned for it, but obviously my voice is not cooperating. So as soon as my voice is cooperating, we'll get some of that content out for you too, so you can take a look. One of the biggest things I want to do for you guys this year is I want to show you some differences between like pro competitors and local level competition, because I think sometimes we get a lot of coverage on pros and no coverage on local shows, which makes it difficult as a newer competitor to understand the criteria for an NPC competitor, right? So I do want to do some of my own coverage of shows and show you so that you can understand what you have to be ready for when you actually get there, right? Most of you guys that come onto my live feeds and stuff are not pros. Most of you guys are NPC girls. And it can be very intimidating watching some of these pros. Some of these girls have been doing it for a long time and thinking you got to measure up to that, which you don't. You got to be where your feet are, right? Yes, thank you. Yes, I will do my best, you guys. I do get footage at every single show that I go to. Just a matter of getting it put together for you into content. And like I said, I actually had time to do it this weekend, but I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk. So made it difficult, but we will get it out for you. I promise. We'll get that out for you. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you do subscribe here to our YouTube channel. So if you're on Instagram right now, we are live on YouTube as well. So go onto our YouTube and subscribe over there for me. If these pro glutes, looking at them in comparisons, wow, yeah, pro glutes are crazy. They really are. They really are. Excited for that. Good. Awesome. Good question. Just want to let you know I'm here. Been listening from the shower. I love it. I'm not playing hooky. Good. I love it when people show up religiously. That's fantastic. And again, I'm going to apologize again one more time for my voice. Hopefully I'll be back to normal by tomorrow. It has been gradually getting better over the last couple of days. I mean, like I said, Saturday night, my voice was completely gone. All day Sunday, I've been nursing it. I've been nursing it all day today. So I'm hoping that I'll be back to normal by tomorrow. Probably doesn't help that I've been doing sprints and stuff outside with the wind and all of that. That probably is not helping, but you do what you got to do, right? So we will also have a surprise coming up for Clash this weekend. So make sure that you're staying tuned to our social media, our email lists, all of those things, because we'll have something coming up too that we're putting together for this coming weekend. You too in the gym shower, listening to the deets. Hope you feel better. So thank you. And yeah, like I said, I don't feel bad. I mean, I am on my cycle this week, which sucks. You ladies all know this. All know what that feels like. So that's more hormonal and emotional than anything else. When it comes to physical wise, I'm just tired because that's my cycle stuff too, and this voice thing where I can't talk. It's a blessing for my husband because he doesn't have to hear me bitch. So there's that. There's always a silver lining, right? Any other questions from the shows this weekend? And yes, the pro glutes are crazy. When you start looking at some of these girls and just the genetics that they have, but then the work that they put into those genetics is just crazy. It is, really is. It's something that, myself getting ready for the pro stage again, I look at that constantly and it makes me not slack. It makes me put in 110% every single day, push. If you want to be the best, you got to work just like them. Just work just like them, right? There was some crazy negativity during the live stream. I didn't like it. People upset about the placing for wellness and some for bikini. Was that on Instagram? I know they have the live stream on Instagram too. I wasn't watching the ones on Instagram. I was watching the ones on Zoom. They had a Zoom link, and that's the one I was on. And there's always going to be negative Nancy's and everything. I mean, there's always going to be people that have negative viewpoints at every show and that don't agree and that they feel like they have to voice those negative thoughts. Just ignore it. People have gotten so bold with being so negative about everything, keyboard warriors and things like that. It's just that is more an indication of a person that is really unhappy with themselves than anything else. I always go back to that. If you're sitting there talking crap about these girls on stage that have just worked so damn hard to get up there. You gotta check where you're at mentally. You know, I mean, for real. Take a seat. Take several seats for me. Right? Yeah, on Instagram. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, misery loves company. They sure do. I made it my mission to cheer on whoever they didn't like. There you go. There you go. Facts. Yep, facts. Negativity breeds negativity, but positivity also breeds positivity. So you just got to choose which side you're going to be on. Choose positive, right? Repeating the wrong way, right? Yeah, amen. There's always going to be people with negative viewpoints. Always, always, always. Just block and delete, or be like me and call them out on your own Instagram. That's something I'll never understand. I'm like, why are you coming on my Instagram to talk shit? Like, come on, man. I don't go to yours and do that. Like, whatever. You can have your opinions, but keep them to yourself. I would never go onto somebody else's Instagram and talk shit on their live feeds, on their photos, on their whatever. I would just never do that. There's too many other things I have to do in my life. Too many other things I have to spend energy on. Why am I going to do that? If it's not constructive, what is the point? Why am I going to waste my time? That is a big freaking time waste that does nothing positive in this world. And it just, again, breeds negativity and hate. So I'm not doing that shit. And if you come to mine, you're going to get blocked. Bottom line. Or I'm going to restrict you and talk shit about you on my stories. There's that, because I did that today. I was not having it. Those hormones, those little fire demons inside me today. Not having it. Not having it. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, with that, good. We've got some good shows that have started off this year already, so that's fantastic. Makes them sound insecure. It sure does. They are insecure. Not only makes them sound insecure, they are insecure. That's the bottom line. The ones that come out and say stuff like that are the ones that have the problems, not you. They do. So always remember that. All right. And on that note, I'm gonna give my voice a rest. Go drink some tea. I will be getting back to all of you with posting critiques, things like that. I'm going to try and do them tonight. If my voice craps out on me, I will get them to you by tomorrow morning. No later than tomorrow morning, I promise. Thank you. Yes, I need my voice back. Thank you. I need my voice. I need it for y'all. Or I'm going to be sitting here doing sign language that I don't know. No. Oh, gosh. All right, you guys. I hope you had a great weekend. Looking forward to this week, looking forward to Clash this coming weekend, and looking forward to seeing a bunch of you guys there. We will be back on live tomorrow. If for some reason my voice is gone, then I won't be, but that's the only reason. Otherwise, I will be here. So we will see you tomorrow night. Thank you. Appreciate it. And like I said, I feel fine. It's just I can't talk very well. The things we deal with in life, right? Have a great night, you guys. I'm going to log off of Instagram first. Go. And there we go.